Welcome back to our listeners. We have an amazing guest today, and her name is Audra, and she's the founder of Women I Don't Know, right? That's the name. But I'm gonna let her to introduce herself because she's gonna tell you who she is and what she does.
Yep. Well, thanks, Cindy. I am very happy to be here and support everything that you're doing with the ladies' car care. I think it's fantastic. My name is Audra Fordin. I am the fourth generation owner of my family's auto repair shop in Flushing, Queens, New York. And I am the founder of a company, not for profit, called Women Auto Know, where our purpose is to empower and educate women like you to be proactive and inspired and confident to make smart decisions taking care of their car in the auto repair shop and on the road.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. I love that. Why is it so important to support women in your business?
Wow. It's so important to support women because women feel that they don't have the information that they need. And quite honestly, many people, men and women, don't have the information that they need, mostly because there was a stigma surrounding society, especially women, where they don't need to know about cars. And they felt that it was going to blow up if they touched it or if they knew anything about it. And a big part of it that I experienced was that it was a man's job. And I'm not a man, and I'm real good at what I do. And I'm very happy to share all of the information that I've learned and experienced through all my years working at the auto repair shop.
That's so great. I mean, it's so true what you're saying. I mean, it's incredible the stigma and the cultural thing that it's out there that women has in their minds that they cannot do anything on their cars because this is a men thing. Totally agree on that. And tell me how women out to know exactly help women in this area.
How do we help women? I think that the best way to help somebody, especially women, is to empower them with information. So what we've done is break up the car. This big 30, 3,200-pound machine into these little bite-sized pieces, and we correlate it to the human body. So the car, we make like demystifying and relating it to things that people understand and can relate to, like food, sex, and money. Real comfortable things that we all enjoy. And I found that when you can understand what it is that you are talking about, when it makes sense to you, you're very empowered to make smart decisions to be able to take care of your car and in turn take care of yourself. And when you're taking care of yourself, then your life is just that much better.
Yeah, definitely. I love that what you're saying, and it's so true because if we emphasize in lifestyle things, it's a better way for women to understand their cars because there's a lot of language out there, and that's one of the things that my female customers they feel very the struggle because they said, "Oh, every time that I go to this repair shop, they start telling me all these things. They're using these words that I don't understand." It happened to you before?
It happens to me all the time, every single day. So what we've done, I mean, just to sum it up, is by breaking down the car, right? Starting with the most important piece, the dashboard lights. I correlate the dashboard lights as to the brain and the immune system. And this is where all of our decisions are made in our head. So if you think of the dashboard lights like the wiring synapses in our brain, letting us know how we're feeling, and then understand that the dashboard lights are color coded, it makes sense. And what I mean coded is, let me see if you could see behind me. Can you read this? The dashboard lights are color coded like the lights on the road. They're red, yellow, and green. So when you see a green light, you're directionals. Everything is all good, nothing to worry about. If you
Exactly.
see a yellow light, well, those are typically maintenance. And when you have maintenance, you need maintenance in order to maintain your car. So that's really preparing yourself for budget. And then those red lights are telling you that something's up. You need to stop, just like the stoplight or the stop sign on the road. When you see that red light that's blinking and flashing at you, because your car doesn't speak, it's a mute, that red light is screaming and it's really trying to get your attention. Like a seatbelt light. If the seatbelt is not put into the clip, then that light is blinking. And again, it's your car's way of communicating to you.
Yeah, I love that analogy because it's really simple and easy to understand when we share this knowledge to our customers or to any woman that it's ready to learn and to bring that confidence in. I mean, that's something that is going to stick in their heads because they see the light street all the time. So they're going to relate it to the car. So I love that. That's a genius how you're putting things together. So share with me any your favorite experience that when you teach this information to your clients, how they take it what is your favorite experience with your customers?
Well, I've got two perspectives on that. My favorite experience is when I see the connection that people make between their life and their car, and the light bulb goes off and they understand what it is that they need in order to maintain the car and really take good care of it and take good care of themselves. For that, I get fueled up and I get empowered. And I think that that's my biggest piece. We have a philosophy with Women Auto Know, and it starts with number one is to educate, not intimidate. I have a graphic for this that I'd love to share with you. Maybe I want to slide it in here. But number one, in our 4-part philosophy, number one is to educate, not intimidate.
Mm-hmm.
Because people want education. I don't want to feel uncomfortable when it comes to my car. Number two is to show and tell. So show me what I need and tell me so that I understand. And number three is to tell, not sell. Tell me what I need so that I can make a smart decision, but don't sell me because I don't want sales. I mean, we're sold constantly by looking at all different kinds of advertisements, and we're walking down the street or just looking at a commercial or on your phone. There's constantly advertisements that are trying to sell. And number four is to provide service, not sales, because
Mm-hmm.
we are in auto repair. We are in a service business, not a sales business. Like a doctor, our job is to educate you and give you information so that you can be safe and confident and feel good. Otherwise, people are like all freaked out all the time.
Yeah.
The other thing that I did was, in my experience, I have seen a lot of people who broke down, were stranded on the road, were taken advantage of, and 3 o'clock in the morning when your battery goes bad is not the best time to replace the battery. So we created a driver checklist, and inside this checklist, it's broken up into the 8 essentials. And we go over all of the things that I have found cause people to waste their time, waste their money, get stuck on the road, or left stranded somewhere. This kit gives factual, actual information on all the systems of your car. For example, here we have, you see the swab?
Yes.
It's like a COVID test, a rapid COVID test. You swab do a culture on the throttle body, and that would let you know the condition of how the intake is burning. And when you're doing this, it's a preventative maintenance so that your engine will run more clean. The emissions. I don't want to babble on like the right topic. Ask me another question.
No worries, we can cut this part, don't worry. Okay, so I mean, I love that you have different sources and different tools, and I see that you also have a website. So how we can find you, how we can find all this information that is helpful for our listeners, how we can find you.
You can go to womenautono.com to find information that will give you resources to make smart buying decisions, smart maintenance decisions, repairing, and safety on womenautono.com. we also have an estimator on the website. So you can use that as a third party estimate if you're not sure on the pricing that you're getting, just to give you a general ballpark idea, and it's free as a resource. That that among blogs and the driver checklist is available there, and we have some tipping cards as well. This driver checklist, I do want to be able to share it with you and see if it's something that you can use in your shop as well. This checklist has empowered women. It is enlightening, it is empowering, and it helps people to budget and plan and make smart decisions about how they're going to care for their cars. Oftentimes, when you go into the dealership or a repair shop and you ask for a service, according to your maintenance or your scheduled maintenance, sometimes it's arbitrary. We make a good decision. We look at the fluid, we'll smell it, see the color, and then make a judgment. I found oftentimes that that's not factual information. Maybe you had more time before you needed to change your transmission fluid or your coolant, or maybe your battery was good, or if it was just on good or it was in replace soon. You would know that by testing the system. And if you specifically go to a place where they're doing all of these benchmark tests, you really don't have information that you do need to maintain your car as best as possible.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, and this is amazing because there is a lot of things that our customers needs to know, and they don't really know where to go, and because that's when a lot of women feel that they are taken advantage of, when the mechanic comes and tell you need this and this, and they don't even know exactly if that's true, because they don't know their car, and how they gonna find out that what the mechanic is telling them is true. But when they know a little bit more about their car, and they know, like you're saying, with that checklist, that checklist it's amazing, because if they have that in their hands, they can know a little bit more, how, like you were saying right now.
Another example, and I have two thoughts. So on the checklist, if you, let me open it up and share with you here, we have tests on all of the fluids. So, regular combustion engine runs on motor oil, and it has transmission fluid and coolant and power steering fluid and brake fluid. An electric vehicle has coolant, transmission fluid, washer fluid, and brake fluid. So the checklist is good for whether you have a hybrid, which also has motor oil, whether you have a hybrid, a combustion, or an electric vehicle. And the way that it really gives you value for your dollar is because if you need, if your brake, when you start with the brake system, to make it simple, when you apply the brakes, the fluid that runs the system is called your brake fluid. And the brakes are very hot. So as the fluid heats up, it creates condensation. This moisture is absorbed into the fluid. As the moisture gets into the fluid, it changes the boiling temperature. So now the brakes heat up more quickly, which would cause you to wear your brake pads more quickly and heat up your brake rotors, which is very costly, costly repair. If you were able to know that your brake fluid was at a lower temperature, causing you to have brake fluid, brake pad, and rotor loss, you would change your brake fluid at like $120, as opposed to needing rotors for $250 to $500. So the cost really puts the power into the person's hands to be proactive and save their money in a smart way that's still maintaining their car in the best way possible.
Yep.
The same holds true for your transmission fluid and your power steering fluid and your motor oil. If you're going to maintain the system at a low cost because it's just maintenance, you save a ton of money on system failure from mechanical breakdown. And the failure only happens because the fluid wasn't up to par any longer. It was exhausted, it worked its hardest, it did its job, and it just needs to be changed. Kind of like when you wash your dishes, eventually you need to change the water that's in the sink because it did its job, it's done, and you need fresh, clean water. It's the same idea with the systems of the car that run on fluids.
That's pretty amazing. I love it. I love it. I mean, I think that will be very helpful for a lot of women out there that want to take control of their maintenance. That's incredible. Now, tell me, what advice could you give to our listeners right now? There is a lot of women that are listening this moment, and I love all the sources that you are putting together in your company. But if you could do one advice on to our listeners right now, what will be?
One advice. The choice is yours, and you are the driver of your car. You do not have to be a backseat driver when you are the owner and you have the keys in your hand. Take ownership, take responsibility, and it's actually not as bad as you think. It's very empowering, and it is enlightening. Just taking that first step. And once you know how to open the hood, it's like riding a bike. You own it and you know it forever.
Yes, totally agree on that. I love that. Well, now let me talk about this a little bit, and because I think I never tell you how actually I met you and how I started knowing about you before. And it was one time because I was doing the research, because when I start teaching about women or my customers about auto maintenance, I found you in YouTube. And you guys have to see, and I'm gonna link this video on the notes on the podcast. There's a video that she did when she went undercover to the different repair shops, and I love to watch that video. Can you tell me a little bit about that video and how you start doing that?
The video when I went undercover and went to different auto repair shops was actually a horrible experience for me, because I didn't realize how callous and unfair and unscrupulous auto shops are or were. I don't want to say it's everybody, we're putting it all into one, one apple spoils the bunch. But I experienced being taken advantage of. I was lied to. I was ripped off. I was devastated. And because of that experience that I had is why we're doing the workshops, why the checklist actually came into fruition. Society is behaving badly, and people are not getting educated, and they're pointing a finger saying, oh, well, they took advantage of me, but maybe they did, maybe they didn't. You just don't have the information. And through this auto shop test run that I did, I saw firsthand how it's so important, especially women, to understand their car. You don't have to know all cars. There's so many different makes and models, but understanding your specific model, your tire size, not mine. Know where your tire pressure is. Know how to do it on your car, how to open your hood, what it means when a light comes on, or how to operate your car is imperative for so many reasons. Not just about the empowerment, which is tremendous, but it's about like your life. People get hurt every single day because of motor vehicle accidents that could have been prevented. So society, I think, is behaving badly, and it is up to each individual person to take ownership of their own vehicle so that they can take care of themselves. And there's a price to pay when you don't, but when you do take care, it's priceless.
Yeah, definitely. And I agree with you because that's one of the things that I mean, it moves me to start doing this because I mean, I got my heart was so, I mean, so sad when I start hearing these stories from my female clients. I didn't know that it was so bad out there, that there were so many mechanics. And I'm not, like you said, I mean, we're not saying that every mechanic is bad, but they are really bad ones too. I mean, and when I start hearing the stories from my own clients, I was devastated. I was like, really? I mean, there's something that we need to do to change that. And that's when I start doing this and start teaching women and everything that I could. So when I found you, I was like, oh, there's another person that is doing the same thing. And if we can support each other, we can become stronger and changing this, I mean, cultural thing that it's out there in the auto industry, because it's really devastating just to see how women specifically are struggling in this area. It's really awful to see that it's still, we are in 2020 21 and in this time we're still struggling in the auto industry.
Yeah, it's also it's devastating. But what you're doing to educate people and banding together and bringing women onto your podcast and sharing information is how we do get stronger, and we get stronger together. The ideal is to change the way people feel. And I believe that now a lot more women are involved in their car care, and a lot more people are interested in how to maintain their vehicle, because we're in such a crazy world. um, we also need to be money conscious.
Mm-hmm.
So making these smart decisions is so important.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So let's change the subject a little bit, and I want to know more about Audra. How, I know you told me that you were with your dad before working on cars, but who's Audra? I want to know the woman behind women. I don't know.
Wow. So I'm a hard worker. I am a woman who I'm a mom, and I have three amazing children, and they are first in my everything. I lead by example with them. I try to make my best decisions, and I strive very hard to, just every day to get up and to be the best that I can be. I'm also very spiritual, so I fall down a lot, and I believe also that you fall down 7 times and you get up 8. And it's been a journey. I started with Women Auto Know in 2010. This was like when the internet was really first coming out. And even before then, even before I started in auto repair when I was a kid, and people would challenge me all the time. I think it was like because I didn't have balls, I had boobs. So it was like a big uproar. She shouldn't do that. But I'm very talented, and I'm good with my hands, so it came natural to me. After a while, and this was in my younger days, people didn't question me anymore. They wanted me to work on their car because I was doing a good job. So I learned that it's not about being a man or a woman, it's about passion. It's about doing what you love. And it's about putting your effort and time into being the best that you can be, the best that I can be, doing what it is that makes me feel good. So, who I am is that person. I am driven, and I am constantly trying to get up. I think failure is just one more step to getting closer to touching more people, to making a difference, to helping another person be able to be driven, or perhaps open a door to enlighten their eyes that they can be, or they can have an opportunity, because it's not a barren road. It's not dry desert land, and there's lots of soil and lots of opportunity. That's what I teach my children. That's really what I'm about. That's who I am.
Wow, that was powerful. I love your story. I never heard the woman behind. I don't know. And I'm like, if I love you before, I love you more now. I mean, you're amazing. You're
Or
amazing. And you mentioned your kids, and I'm about, a little bit know a little bit about me. I involve my kids in everything that I can. And now that you mentioned your kids, I want to ask you something. How important you think it's as moms is to teach our kids this lifestyle? It's not lifestyle, but a life skill of out of things. Because it breaks my heart when a teenager come to the shop and they are bragging about their new car, but they don't know anything about their own car.
yeah,
So what you could share about that?
I can share that it's a personal responsibility. And as a parent, I take that responsibility to invite my children to learn about their car as well. They're it's so interesting because they've been to workshops with me. They have information about cars, but sometimes people don't want to have the light bulb turn on. You can't force everybody to do it. And
Yeah,
in my case, I have one daughter who wants to know everything, who's interested, and then I have another daughter who says she really doesn't want to know. But you know what? I guess that's where the parenting comes in, because you don't want to know, but you have to know.
exactly.
So, with one it's easy, with the other one it's not. But it just takes a short amount of time. It's like, a whole 20 minutes, 30 minutes to go through all of the buttons on the car and show you how to open the hood and how to put in gas and where your wipers are and how to turn on your defroster. Where's the hazards in case of emergency? So I think it's imperative for everybody to take those few minutes to learn about your car, even if you don't want to.
Yeah, definitely. My kids are still little. I have a 13 years old. She's the oldest, and she loves what we're doing with teaching women all that, and she's all about it. And she's a 13 years old, and she already know how to check the fluids, open the hood, where all the buttons are. And I have a boy as well. She's 10, and he loves being in the shop. And I believe that when your kids see you what you do, and when they are leading by example, that's when it comes the interest on saying, oh, you know what, I want to know more. And I think a lot of parents out there are struggling, like you said right now. Well, I have one kid that wants to learn, but I have another one that she does not want to learn. But it's up to us to teach them and say, hey, this is something that is not that you want, but you have to, because it's gonna save you from even an accident, or even something that you can avoid just having this information.
It's not just enough that you can hold the keys. You have to take ownership and be responsible. And you're not the only person on the road. There's other people there too. So if you're not going to be willing enough to take care of yourself, then you have to do it for your community.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. I love that story. I love everything. I mean, I think this episode is powerful. And if you're taking notes, well, you better be taking notes, because there's a lot of golden nuggets that we just shared. And I just want to say thank you, Audra, for this opportunity that you came to the show and just share your knowledge. I mean, I love what you're doing. I love everything that you've been building for since so long. You said you started on 2010, right? I mean, I,
Yes.
I love that. And I know there's greater things that are coming your way. Uh, just the way you're working, it's just amazing, empowering and inspiring women just to learn more about their cars. So I love that. I just want to thank you one more time to be here and to be part of the show today. So there is something else before we say goodbye that you want to share with our listeners?
We're good.
We're
Thank
good.
you very much.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Well,
I
thank you.
shared. Thank you so much for having me. And as far as for sharing, that there is a lot more information out there. There are a lot of resources, and you're not alone. Tap into any of them if you have any questions. Let your fingers do the walking. Make phone calls. Look online, and know that it works out. It's and it's all in your best interest.
Perfect. Yeah. So if you want to know more about Audra, just go to womenouterknow.com. You will find more information about her. And thank you for being part of the Ladies Car Care Talk Show today. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and wait, because we are going to have much more episodes just like this one to bring you a lot of information. And I got a lot of golden nuggets that will be helpful for you. So see you next time, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Ladies Car Care Talk Show. For more resources from Cindy or to join the Ladies Car Care Facebook community, you can follow the links in the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe wherever you're listening and share with your friends.